to the tax record keeping for AVON representatives. What can be deducted? My name is Ryan Bradshaw. Just a little personal information about myself. I have a bachelor's and master's degree in accounting from Southern Utah University. I am a certified public accountant and have been for the last 10 years. I'm currently the accounting manager with the Utah State the Utah State Department of Technology Services. I work at the Capitol. I've been 4+ years in the income tax auditor for the state of Utah with the Utah State Tax Commission. 16 years preparing tax returns, plus 10+ years as managing partner of Bradshaw and Associates CPA, which I'm still a current owner of, and then 10+ years assisting my lovely wife with her AVON business. I think with all of this, it makes it very important to note that I do know what I'm talking about when it comes to taxes, but everything that we talk about in this presentation is my own opinion. It will never stand up in IRS court or anything else like that. It's simply my opinion, my experience as the best way to handle things. Why is this important? Why is it important to keep your records? Number one, the tax rates. It's 13.3% self-employment tax in 2012. This is going to return to 15.3% in 2013. So it's very important that you go through and make sure you're getting all the deductions possible. Of course, the federal tax rate is between 10 and 35%. Most of us never see that 35% tax rate. If we do, we're extremely rich and probably don't need to be selling AVON anyway at this point. And of course, a 5% state income tax rate that we have. So this tells us that every dollar in expenses will save us between 28 and 53 cents in taxes. So that's huge for us as we go down the road and talk about how much we can deduct and what we can deduct. And of course, we want to be able to keep these records for an audit, because if we have good records, audits are very, very easy to take care of if we're working with the IRS or the Utah State Tax Commission. How do you track your sales? Use technology. Don't be afraid to use technology. It's a great thing. A specific AVON program is very good, or even QuickBooks, or Excel or another spreadsheet helps you out. Use a check register. Make sure that you use your you go through and you log all of your checks, all of your cash. Keep track of what customers pay you. That's a good thing to do, because it's going to give you a chance to let you know when a customer or how much a customer pays you each year. Use a separate bank account. Very easy to track your expenses if you simply use a separate bank account for everything that you do. It's also good if it ever comes up to an IRS audit. A separate bank account will help you so that every expense in there is towards your AVON business and you're not mixing business with your personal stuff. Of course, your leadership and other incentives come on what is called a 1099 MISC, and that'll come in the mail to you, should be to you by the first week of February. And of course, there are many other ways that you can go about doing this, and it's whatever is comfortable for you is what you need to do to track your sales. What are deductible expenses? As we look, your AVON invoice. You've got your product, your sales tax, your returns, your other fees, and your other materials. Make sure on those returns that you're including the amount you credit back. That's very important, because you've already got that expense for the product. You need to make sure you're taking those returns into account as well. Of course, this is the old style invoice that we've seen with AVON, but it does serve about the same purpose as the new style you have now. For this example, the total expenses, of course, we've got those order processing fees. Those fees, now they have those single orders. In this case, it's $13.75. The product was $1,723.56. The sales tax was $200.75. And of course, any special items for $750. That means a total of $1,948.56. It is very important, and we'll talk about it in just a little bit, to make sure that you just don't put a lump sum of $1948.56 as your product. It's very important that you break this out, and we'll talk about this in just a little bit. As we also look part of that amount, that $15.96 that we've been talking about with that, some of that is demos and also supplies. All of those bags you order, your books, everything else with that. That can go on a separate item. So the actual product was $1,596.06, not the $1,726. So in this case, we've broken down about $2,000 into simply $1,600 in product and $400 approximately in other expenses that don't go with the product. Now, what is the difference between these two things here? If you have sales of $2,660, product of $1,948.56, and your income is $711.44. Why is that different than having sales of $2,660, fees of $1,375, product of $1,603.56, sales tax of $200.75, demos of $99.95, and supplies of $30.56 for the same income of $711.44. Some of you probably use a lot of that stuff that's on the left side of the screen. I'm going to explain to you why you should do it as the way we do it on the right side of the screen. And here's why. As I went through an IRS audit, one of the things they did was they limited your product to 60% of sales. They know that the maximum amount most AVON reps get is about 40% earnings. So when you take $2,660 and they wipe out that product and say, wait a minute, it's $1,603.56. So your income at this point is not $711.44, but instead $1,056.44. That tax change could be as much as $246.15. Again, if we do it this way, with the sales, we break out the fees, the product, the sales tax, the demos, the supplies, the incomes can stay at $711.44. Again, that's a big difference in tax when you're talking about saving a lot of money. Let's talk a little bit about other deductible expenses that you have that are outside of that AVON invoice. Of course, you're going to have your office supplies, your paper to print those invoices, your labels, your staples, paper clips, and other small supplies. Always my suggestion to you is make sure that your paper, your labels, your supplies are separate from your personal items. Make sure that paper, you buy a ream of paper and you use it just for AVON. So you're able to deduct that. If you intermingle it with the personal, it's impossible to get that right. Sometimes some of you have some invoice preparation programs that are outside of the AVON program. That's fine. Using QuickBooks or something like that is fine, but deduct it. It's a deductible expense. And then, of course, some other bags that may not be bought through AVON. As well, while delivering your orders, keep a mileage log. Always keep a small notebook in your car and keep track of all the miles that you have. In addition to that, one of the questions it asks you on the return is how many miles did you drive throughout the year. It's always a good idea to go out on January 1st and write down the odometer reading on your car. And then on December 31st, write that odometer read again, and that's going to give you the exact amount of miles you drove for the year. And then you can use your log to decide how many of those were AVON related versus commuting versus personal use. Pay for your assistants. If you have children that you work with, go ahead and give them $20 to help you deliver your books or deliver your orders. It's not a big deal. It can be deducted, and the kids do not have to claim it on their tax return. You can actually pay your own children as high as about $4,000 without the need of doing a 1099 or W-2. You can also pay other people and deduct it without a 1099 or W-2 if it's around $600. Also, take a look at meals. If you pay your kids in a trip to McDonald's instead, make sure you write that down and you deduct that meal. Of course, meals are limited to 50% based on IRS code. Other deductible expenses is your marketing and advertising. The signs you put up in your house, your business cards, those kind of things are important. And also the mileage to your AVON related meetings. Make sure you involve that in your mileage log. Another deductible expense can be the home office. The home office must be exclusive use for AVON stuff if you want to deduct it. There are two exceptions to the exclusive use rule. One is daycare, which has nothing to do with AVON. The other is the storage of inventory, which has a lot to do with AVON. If you have a lot of AVON product that you store and you have it in a certain area, you can deduct that as inventory throughout the year. So that, and of course you do that based on the percentage of your house. The total square foot of your home being 3,000, the total area used for business 300, you are able to deduct 10% of it of deductible expenses. And let's look at those deductible expenses when it comes to the home office. Some of the deductible shared expenses through your home are the mortgage interest, your utilities, except for your telephone. Your telephone does not count when looking into the home office. The real estate taxes, the insurance, the mortgage insurance, the insurance on the home, and of course if you pay for a security system. That is another thing that is deductible. One other thing to remind you is the home office cannot take business income below zero. So if all of your AVON related stuff already has you at a negative amount, you cannot add home office onto that and take it further in the hole. It will only take you to zero. Some common questions that I get asked: can I deduct my computer and printer? They're what's known as listed property. They can be depreciated based on the percentage of business versus personal use. So if you use your computer for half business, half personal, you can deduct 50% of that as depreciation. The computer is normally 5 to 7 year depreciation. Most computers you buy are $500 to $1,000. So you don't get a whole lot each year. No more than $80 to $100, $120 per thing. If you took 100%, if it goes down to 50, you're getting about $35 to $70. So it is a little bit, but it's not a ton of money. Can I deduct product I buy for myself? It can be treated as demo, but it must be reasonable. You know, if 50% of what you buy is a demo, that's not going to work out for AVON. But as long as you keep it below a reasonable amount, 10%, something like that, that is definitely going to be worth doing. As an AVON rep, you have that opportunity, and you must know how to use your product, what the effects are going to be, so that you can talk to your customers and be able to make the sales as you go through. So that's definitely a reasonable deduction. Can I deduct clothes? No matter how nice a suit you buy to go to an AVON meeting, that suit can probably be worn to another occasion, a special event with someone at work, a religious function, high school graduation, whatever it may be. So those clothes can't be deducted. It would only be if it was specific to AVON. If you bought a t-shirt that said AVON on it, you would be able to deduct that t-shirt, but as advertising, not as clothing. Of course, your hairstyle and your fingernails, things like that, that's only going to be deductible if you are a hairstylist or you do fingernails. Those things, like I said, the hairstyle and the fingernails aren't exclusive to AVON and cannot be deducted as far as being an AVON rep. What receipts do I keep? Keep all of your receipts, your invoices, and bank statements that were used to prepare your return. They must be kept for at least 7 years. My recommendation is you never throw tax information away. As a tax auditor, I saw many times where we would go back 10 years because somebody had thought they filed a return and actually didn't file it. And because they didn't have their information, the audit was terrible for them and they owed a bunch of money. So I always recommend never throw your information away. It is very important that you keep your records in case you're asked to prove your deduction. That's the most important thing. If somebody comes in and asks you to prove your deduction, whether it be the Internal Revenue Service or the Utah State Tax Commission, you need to be able to prove that. Of course, you may have a lot of questions, and those we're happy to answer here at Bradshaw and Associates. Of course, we don't want to be overrun with questions. We really don't want to do your tax return over the phone because we have clients, of course, that we need to handle. We do give you the option to give us a call. If you want to be one of our clients, we're definitely appreciate new clients and do accept new clients. for AVON reps, if you just have your W-2s from work, your Schedule A, and your AVON business, we're willing to do that at the special price of $80. That's a very, very competitive price, probably one of the best prices out there, and I don't know that you're going to find expertise that Bradshaw & Associates provides for a price better than that. So if you wish to do that, here's our contact information. You can call me personally, Ryan Bradshaw, at the phone number listed below, 801-523-3434, or send me an email at ryanbradshaw@comcast.net. I thank you for this, and hopefully this helps you out as you go through the endeavors of AVON and are much better and at record keeping, and this is something that will help you out as you go through your business. Thank you very much.